Welcome back to this video tutorial. We can discuss about the recursive function in this video. We can consider the definition first. If a program allows you to call a function inside the same function, then such function calling is called recursive function calling. Okay, a program allows you to call a function inside the same function. That means inside the body of the same function, then such functions are called recursive function. We can simply say it as a function calling by itself. Okay, so consider this syntax. Here we have a function with name fun and its body is given here. Okay, so inside this function body, here we have the same function calling. That means inside this function body, it calls the function fun itself. Okay, so we can say it as the recursive function. That means this function fun is a recursive function. Okay, so we can consider one program for finding the factorial of a given number. Okay, and here it is implemented using the concept recursion, right? So here this is the declaration of our function factorial. How many inputs are required? Only one integer input, right? And the return type is again int. That means after executing this factorial function body, it returns the factorial value to the called location. Okay, so here we have this function body of factorial. So using this parameter I, here if I less than or equal to 1, then it returns value 1, else it returns I into factorial of I minus 1. That means here it called the same function inside this function body factorial. It calls the factorial function again with different parameter. Okay, here inside this main function we can call the factorial of I, and this I is initialized with value 5 here. So what happened while calling this? This is a call by value method of function implementation. So while calling this factorial of 5, transfer control directly from this location to the body of factorial function and copy to this location the value of actual parameter, that is 5 is copied here in this variable I. So using this formal parameter and with the initialized value of 5, now we can execute the body of this function. Now I hold the value 5. This 5 is not less than or equal to 1, right? So move into this else part. Here we have the expression or the statement return I into factorial of I minus 1. Okay, that means I means 5. 5 into factorial of I minus 1 means 5 minus 1, 4. That means it returns I into factorial of 5 minus 1, 4. Right? So here it again calls the same function with different argument, that is 4 now. Okay, so whenever it complete this function execution, so we can consider with the value I equal to 5, and here it is the case f equal to factorial of 5. Okay, what happened while calling this function? Move to this particular location and instead of this I, or into this particular location labeled as I, which is loaded with value 5 now. Okay, now what happened? We want to execute or start the execution of this function body. Okay, what happened? Here this I is greater than 1. So directly move to this else part. So what we want to perform now? Here we want to execute this statement, return of 5 into factorial of I minus 1 means 5 minus 1, 4. Okay, here again we have one more function calling, that is factorial of 4. While calling this, what happened or what will happen? So while calling this, again we need to transfer control to the starting of this function body with the new value of 4 to this I. Right? Again from this particular location, factorial of 4, the control is transferred back to the starting of this function and substitute or initialize with new value 4. Okay, using this I value equal to 4, we can start the execution of body again. This 4 is greater than 1. So again we need to execute the statement return 4 into factorial of 3. 4 minus 1 is 3 now. Again here we have the same function calling with new parameter 3. What will happen? Again we want to transfer control back to the starting of this function calling or function body. Transfer control back to the starting of this function body and I is initialized with our new value 3. Right? So here the 3 is greater than 1 now. Again we want to execute the same statement return 3 into factorial of 2. Right? I into factorial of I minus 1 become now 3 into factorial of 3 minus 1, that is 2. Here we have the same function calling with new parameter 2. What will happen? Here from this particular location we want to start control back to the starting of this function body. So what is the case now? This fact here now I equal to 2 and this 2 again greater than 1. So move to the else part and execute return 2 into factorial of 1. Right? 2 into factorial of 1. Here again we have the same function calling factorial with new argument 1. So transfer control from that location to the starting of the function factorial again and initialize I with the new value 1. Okay, now this condition become, the if condition become true, that is if I less than or equal to 1, yes, now the I value is 1. So this equal to condition becomes satisfied now. So here we can return value 1. Where it returns value 1? To the location from which it is called. Where it is called? Here it is called the factorial of 1 here. So we want to return value 1 to this particular location. Right? So instead of this factorial of 1 calling, here we can return value, the integer value 1. The return type of this function is integer. Now it returns the value, the integer value 1 to this particular location from which this factorial of 1 is called. Okay, now consider this full statement return 2 into 1. That means return value 2 into 1 is 2 itself. Return 2 to the location from where? From to that location from where it is called that factorial of 2. Okay, so this 2 into 1 is returned to this particular location. Right? 2 into 1 is returned to this particular location from where it is called. Now continue the full statement return 3 into 2. So we want to return value 6 to the location from where it is called. From where it is called? From here it is called. So we want to return the value 3 into 2, that is 6 to this particular location. Right? So this factorial of 3 is now substituted with the value 6. After completing this particular execution, this statement execution, it returns value 6 to this particular location. Now we want to return a new value, that is 4 into this 6 to a location from where it is called. From where it is called? From this particular location it is called. So here we want to return a value, that is 4 into 6. That is 24 is returned here. Okay. Again we want to calculate this 5 into 24 and return that value to a location from where it is called. From where it is called? It is called from this location which is present inside this main function. Right? So this 5 into 24, that is this 120 is returned to this particular location from where we start the function calling. This is received to another variable f, and we can display the result, that is the factorial of 5 as a result, right? So this is the control flow in case of recursive calling of this factorial function. Okay, now we can execute this program, the same program now we can execute, right? The same factorial function. Inside this I is declared with value 5, and here it calls the function factorial with value of I, that is 5 here, and here it is the body of our factorial function. Now we can execute this. So this one returns the result 120 as the factorial value of 5. Okay, instead of this we can declare I with value 15. Once again we can execute this. So it returns a factorial like this. Factorial of 15 is like this. Okay. Okay, so this is the basics of recursive function, and is the common example for understanding the working of recursive function, that is finding factorial of a given number using recursion. Okay.